It's Tuesday, August 2nd. I'm Amy Corr. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I'm without Kevin Van Eck this morning. He is actually traveling this week. But we do have another really great topic to discuss this morning on Coffee with Amy and Kevin. So make sure to grab your mug. I actually have my opportunity mug with me this morning because I'm in the Winnetka office. So fill it up with something warm and let's jump into a conversation about communication. So I know last week Kevin touched on such a great topic, the idea of bringing enthusiasm to your business and focusing on being positive and bringing great energy when you're having conversations with clients or with people within your sphere of influence. I want to talk a little bit more about communication and what we are or are not talking to our clients about. We all know that the market is shifting, right? We've got conversations about interest rates going up, which is causing some buyers to stand on the sidelines and wait to see if rates come down or prices come down, right? We're also starting to see that month's supply of inventory, maybe it's doing it at a very slow pace, but we are seeing those numbers slowly starting to creep up. And I know that I've spoken to so many of you who are seeing this market slow down a bit. Now, the slowdown doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're going to see depreciation, right? There's a lot of big words going on out there right now. Recession, is the market, and are we going to see values depreciate? I want to make sure that we think about how we're communicating with our clients as it pertains to the market. So I want us to know about the difference between depreciation and deceleration. Right now, we are not in a depreciating market. In fact, if you look at a lot of the statistics, we are still probably going to be up again at the end of 2022, and there's projections that that's going to continue in 23 and 24. But what we are doing is we are decelerating or slowing down. And quite honestly, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? This market has been going over 100 miles an hour, right? It's like being in a car and speeding. Now, what happens when you decelerate or you take your foot off the gas, right? The car doesn't stop, but the car slows down, right? And that's really what's happening in our market right now. And I actually think this is going to allow us to see in the future a little bit more of what we like, which is a balanced market or an opportunity where sellers can still get great pricing, but it's also an opportunity for buyers to really be able to come in and be successful in the marketplace. So as we're seeing this deceleration of the market, I think it's really important for us to know how to handle the conversations with our clients. And what I want to focus on today is communication, but specifically with our sellers, because I'm talking with a lot of you right now, and I know that the conversations are a little bit unsettling because some sellers have realized, wow, the market is changing. Or some of them are feeling like I should still be getting multiple offers in a matter of days or hours on my house. Why isn't that happening? So what I'd like you all to think about doing is brushing off. Remember when we used to talk about retaining listings, making sure that when we had a property on for 30, 60, 90, 120 days, how did we communicate with our clients? It's time to brush off that process. We may have put it to the side over the last 18 months, but it is now time to make sure that we are properly communicating with our sellers in this marketplace. And so I want you to think about, how am I communicating with my sellers weekly? And then yes, believe it or not, how am I communicating with them monthly? Because we are seeing properties that are on the market now, not just by weeks, but even for months. And this likely will continue in some markets. So I want you to think about, how am I communicating? Am I doing a really good job when I first sit down with a seller and set expectations, right? We need to level set with where the market's at, but then I also think we need to say to them, listen, this is how you're going to hear from me as we move forward through this process. And you want to make sure you've got a really great weekly recap, and that you also have something really great that you are giving to them every 30 days if it comes to that, right? Because if you're on the market 30, 60, 90 days, odds are there's maybe an issue there, overpricing or something that needs to be adjusted. But I want you to start thinking about that, because I know many of you, not all, but a lot of you have talked about how you now have sellers when a property isn't under contract in a couple of days, they're almost feeling like they made the wrong choice in agent. So you don't want that to be the case, right? So you want to make sure that you've got your communication style set up, communicated with your seller, and ready to go. So in this week's coffee, what I have done is included a couple of different communication options that you can use as templates when you are actually communicating. So remember, the biggest thing we can do is make sure that we're providing the right information to our clients, we're preparing them for what they can expect, and we are doing a great job of communicating consistently. And we're always bringing it with great enthusiasm. All right, so make it a great Tuesday. Kevin and I will see you next week. We will be back together. But until then, make it a great Tuesday. And remember, you got this.